Breaking news on NFL Live. This will definitely be Aaron Rodgers' final season in the NFL at year 22, his second with the Steelers. Here's what he said today.
Yeah, I love Mike T. I mean, I really appreciate the opportunity to come in last year and love my experience with him. And, I thought when he said he was stepping away, that was an emotional moment just because we all love him so much and care about him. And, I thought that that was probably it for me in Pittsburgh. But when the decision was made to hire Mike, I started opening my mind back up to coming back.
Two more. Aaron, do you believe this could be your last year, or do you even think of that right now?
Yes. This is it, yeah.
All right, so kudos to the reporter who slipped that question in at the end, and our reporter, Steelers reporter Brooke Pryor. What more can you tell us about the news of the day? Not only Rodgers obviously decided to come back and play under Mike McCarthy, but the decision finally to make this his last season.
Yeah, Hannah, I think a big part of Rodgers coming back is that Mike McCarthy factor. And Mike McCarthy would not be in Pittsburgh maybe if it weren't for Aaron Rodgers, because Rodgers said today that he actually suggested to Omar Khan early in the offseason, hey, maybe you guys should interview Mike McCarthy to get an outside perspective going into this head coaching search, because it felt like, guys that were in the Sean McVay tree, the Kyle Shanahan tree, those were the guys getting a look. And he said, what if we revisited one of my old friends, one of my old head coaches in Mike McCarthy? And Rodgers said today that it has felt surreal. There have been a lot of pinch me moments being back here in the building with Mike McCarthy. For him, it was that 8 a.m. meeting Monday morning. He said he felt like he was the 22-year-old back in 2006 in Mike McCarthy's first meeting. And McCarthy said the special moment for him was walking out on the practice field with Rodgers for the first time on Monday. And this is just the start of a lot of pinch me moments, and what Rodgers said was a full circle moment to be here playing with Mike McCarthy again.
It is crazy. It's absolutely something that neither of them could ever have imagined. But here we have it. They are together for his last season. It will happen as a Pittsburgh Steeler. Brooke, thank you so much. And as we take a look at the farewell tour, if you will, we see some of those games highlighted. Week 7 in Paris. That feels very Rodgers-esque, that kind of trip. Looks like a lot of fun. They'll play the Broncos on Black Friday. We have Monday Night Football with Aaron Rodgers. And then, interestingly, the season ends at their arch rival, the Ravens. Booger, what do you make of Rodgers not only reuniting with McCarthy, but what this last dance is going to look like?
Well, I think you're going to get the best of Aaron Rodgers, whatever he has left. I think I've been on record saying that I thought Aaron should have retired after last season. But the fact that Mike McCarthy comes in and you're going to reunite this pair, the synergy that's there from their time in Green Bay, they probably can finish each other's sentences. They know each other's tendencies, what each other wants, all those different things. You throw in some of the weapons that he has, because you got DK Metcalf, you got Roman Wilson, you got Michael Pittman Jr., Jeremy Bernard. There are some weapons there in Pittsburgh for this offense to exploit. And so I think you're going to get whatever Aaron Rodgers has left, Mike McCarthy is going to get it out of him. And if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, let's hope it's good enough to get them in the postseason and see if they can make another run.
Yeah, this will be interesting, because I think, quite honestly, if I'm Mike McCarthy right now, I'm thinking, you know what, I don't want to put too much on Aaron Rodgers. I really want to kind of lean into how this team's really been constructed, which to me looks like it's going to have a big, strong, physical offensive line that should be able to really capture the line of scrimmage and run the football. And look, and I really do think now, with some of the additions that they've added to that offensive line this year, when you look there on your screen, look, Max Ahanator and Jennings Dunker, those are two really good young players to go along with a returning group that, when healthy, is pretty darn good. And when you think about the running back combination of Jalen Warren and Rico Dowdle, the size at wide receiver and tight end, when you think of Darnell Washington and Pat Freiermuth, DK, Michael Pittman, who you talked about, these are big physical dudes. This should be a big physical, cold weather, old school Pittsburgh Steelers type of team that should take some of the pressure off of Aaron, quite honestly, and maybe have it be one of those where he doesn't have to carry it.
I forgot to introduce you guys before I talk to you. So obviously this is Louis Redick and Booger McFarland, who is sporting his Wingfoot golf shirt. So I know he considers this a really big day. Guys, Rodgers, by the way, would be eligible for the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2032. All right, this is new on NFL Live. Joe Burrow speaking today about the additions the Bengals made this offseason and his expectations for 2026.
I just think we know where we needed to be better, and we went out and aggressively made it happen. We filled some holes that we had from years past, got better at a lot of positions, signed the best free agent safety, got the best D tackle in the league in my opinion. So we have everything we need in that locker room. We just got to go and make it happen. Number one thing is you have to win, and we're going to go win a lot of games this year and play great and win a Super Bowl. And I think this is the most talented roster that we've had since I've been here.
Wow, that's, saying a lot. Went to the Super Bowl in 2021. Their offense certainly was better than their defense last year, but the offense definitely took a dip from the year before. They ranked in the bottom half of the league in offensive efficiency after they were 6th in the NFL 2 seasons ago. Obviously, a big reason for that is Burrow played a career low 8 games last season with that turf toe. But Louis, with a healthy Burrow, he says it's the most talented team he's been a part of in Cincinnati. What's the ceiling for this team if indeed they have him for a full season?
I think, honestly, look, the playoffs are the floor. I think that's just the starting point. You have to get into the playoffs. Otherwise, I think there's going to be major changes, and it may start with Joe. It may start with Joe saying, you know what, I'm out of here. Enough of this. If we have all these people and all this talent on paper, which everyone talks about at this time of year, and we still cannot make a dent in the North and become real contenders in the North and maybe win the North, get into the playoffs, get a home playoff game, and see if we can get there to that AFC title game, then, where else do you turn? Usually at that point, it's time to blow it up. It's time to blow it up from the decision makers on down. And I think that's really what Cincinnati is facing. He's right. They did address the defensive side of the ball, the front seven in particular. They loaded up on people both in free agency and in the draft. And they invested a number 1 pick last year in Shamar Stewart. The safety that he's talking about is Brian Cook, who comes over, from the Kansas City Chiefs. There's Dexter Lawrence on your screen. They draft Cassius Howell. They signed Boye Mafe. They got Jonathan Allen. They got all kinds of dudes. Now it's up to the coaching staff to develop and utilize. That's the most important part of this whole team building process anyway. The development and utilization of the players that you acquire. If they can't get that done, I expect there to be big changes in Cincy for the 2027 season.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you on that one as far as the changes. Some people were surprised that Zach Taylor made it after last season, but I think if health is withstanding and Joe Burrow is standing upright, it's going to be about this Bengals defense. I think offensively with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, they're going to be able to put up points on the board. Can they stop anybody on defense? Can they stop the run? I think that's why getting Dexter Lawrence was so big. You heard Joe Burrow talk about being the best defensive tackle in football. He's got to return to that, which is what he was in 2024. 2025 wasn't a good year, so can Dexter Lawrence return back? Can you get something out of Shamar Stewart, who has all the tools in the world? Boye Mafe. This defensive line has to dominate. If they